The NFL Today on CBS Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines.
And welcome back to the NFL Today, where Coors Light takes you first on the field. The Steelers and the Dolphins are ready to do battle, so let's head down to Miami, where Greg Gumbel and Dan Deerdorf are standing by. Gentlemen.
JB, what we have here in Miami are two teams gasping for that last breath of postseason air. The defending Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers and the homestanding Miami Dolphins are still alive, but just barely. There's no margin for error here today, and even victory may not be enough. Both teams need a win to stay alive. If it's the Steelers, they'd have to hope for one of a couple of different scenarios. Miami must win and then hope 4 other teams fall by the end of the day. Rest assured, scoreboard watching will be very much in vogue. Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to Miami. Along with my Hall of Fame partner, Dan Deerdorf, I'm Greg Gumbel. If neither of these teams make the playoffs, Dan, they really just have to look in the mirror, don't they?
Well, there's a lot of accountability that comes with being in the position where you're not in charge of where you're headed. They both have to win today, then they have to rely on help. For the Steelers, it's really simple. You look at that 5-game losing streak, and for the Dolphins, the fact that they lost their last 2. It's why they are where they are.
Now, let's start with the Pittsburgh Steelers, who over the years have built a reputation for running the football, but these days they ride the arm of Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, the rules of the National Football League are such that you better be able to pass the football, and that's exactly what the Steelers have become. If you ask Ben, he said, well, it's not that we become a passing team, we're just a little more balanced. Yeah, spoken like a real quarterback, but he's set all sorts of Steeler records this year, throwing the football. The yardage is the most ever by a Steelers quarterback, and what he's getting from Ward and Miller and Holmes is a great deal of production. It's really just been a good offensive year for Big Ben.
Now let's turn to the defense. Injuries, of course, a part of the game, but Troy Polamalu is out of the lineup again today, and that leaves the Pittsburgh defense short.
Yeah, it really does, and as everybody knows, this has always been the strength of this football team, and still, there's a lot of talent here. Might be the best overall linebacking core in football with Timmons and Ferrier and Harrison and the coming on of Lamar Woodley. They are a sensational group, solid up front with Casey Hampton on the nose, but they do have problems in the secondary that are really made all the more obvious with the loss of number 43.
Now, Miami has had its fair share of critical injuries, starting quarterback Chad Pennington, starting running back Ronnie Brown, and what it's done is it's placed the fortunes of the team in the hands of second-year quarterback Chad Henne.
And Chad Henne didn't play at all last year, and I think it's a real testimony to Henne how well he has carried this football team, that they are in the playoff mix on the last weekend of the season. Normally when a team loses their starting quarterback, you say, well, so long to them, but not the Dolphins, and they have really gathered and rallied behind Henne. Of course, he's got help, and he's gotten it from a 32-year-old guy that hasn't had a 1,000-yard rushing season in the last 6 years. But that's what Ricky Williams has come on strong and done for the Dolphins. He's really had to carry the load since they lost Ronnie Brown, and Ricky Williams, a real comeback story in the NFL.
All right, Dan, time for the Home Depot tools to victory for the day.
Well, we talked a little bit about the edge players, and that's what we've got in this game. And Lamar Woodley actually leads the Steelers in sacks. He closed out the Baltimore game with back-to-back sacks last week, and this third-year guy has really come on. Well, here's a 13-year guy that is still playing good football for the Dolphins. Jason Taylor, after a year with the Redskins, back home and playing good football. The tools to victory for today's game. No scoreboard watching for the Steelers. Take care of your own business, which is beating Miami here today, and then hopefully you'll get a handout from somebody else. And for the Miami Dolphins, their last 2 games, they started way behind. They fell behind 24-6 2 weeks ago, then 27-0 last week. Start and play 60 minutes.
And for more Home Depot player stats, log on to CBSSports.com. It's Pittsburgh and Miami fighting to stay alive, coming your way next here on CBS. Tomlin's Steelers won it all last year. Coach Tony Sperano's Dolphins won the AFC East. Both have found the road back tougher this year. Both will try to hold on to another postseason dream next in Sony High Definition.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Shark Stadium in Miami on a 61-degree day, cool by standards in South Florida, but perfect football weather for these two teams who are trying to hold on to hope of a postseason. The Miami Dolphins won the toss and deferred, which means that Stephon Logan and the Pittsburgh Steelers will get their hands on the ball first as we get underway on this 17th and final week of the regular season in the National Football League. Logan will not return this one, and they will come out to the 20-yard line, and that's where the Pittsburgh Steelers will get it started, led by Ben Roethlisberger, the first Steeler quarterback ever to throw for 4,000 yards in a season. He's at 41.08 and counting with 23 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, and a leader, Dan, in every sense of the word.
Yes, he is, and keep in mind when you look at those numbers, Ben missed the game during the regular season because of a concussion, so it could easily be another 200 or 300 yards above that. And he is the bedrock of this football team, make no doubt of it.
They start with 5 wide receivers. And Roethlisberger with the quick pass out here to Hines Ward. And Ward is wrapped up at about the 21-yard line. The Steeler offensive line has one change. The rookie free agent from Tennessee, Ramon Foster, starts today at left guard. And Roethlisberger has those terrific receivers in Holmes, Ward, and Miller, with the rookie Mike Wallace coming in off the bench. There's head coach Mike Tomlin. Very matter of fact in our meeting yesterday. 2nd and 9. Mendenhall to maybe the 23. A look at Miami's 3-4 defense. Langford, Soliai, and Randy Starks up front. The linebackers, Taylor and Porter on the outside. Channing Crowder is out today. Reggie Torbor joins Adele inside. And all the pressure today on these two fine rookie cornerbacks for Miami. Vontae Davis on one side, Sean Smith on the other. 3rd and 7. Roethlisberger over the middle, has his man across the 30 to about the 33-yard line, and that's the rookie Mike Wallace.
Boy, how precision of a throw is this by Ben Roethlisberger, because the coverage by Vontae Davis is pretty good. Well, he's right there on the hip, but Ben puts it right on the hands. You see Davis immediately, because of the shallow patterns, in a trailing position. But this is one accurate throw right on the hands. A little bit of a bobble, but the rookie pulls it in.
First down, Steelers at their own 33. Play fake to Mendenhall. Deep drop for Roethlisberger and all kinds of time. Running short now, and he goes down. Joey Porter, the ex-Steeler, and one of the two team co-captains out at midfield prior to the game for Miami.
Well, that's a sack by Joey Porter, but that's after Ben holds onto the football for close to 6 seconds. Talk about surveying the field and can't find anybody. And he's never even close. Twice he brings it up like he's thinking about it. What a sensational piece of work by the guys in the backfield here for Miami.
Joey Porter, a 3rd-round pick by the Steelers back in '99.
You saw Santonio Holmes lose his footing and just go to the ground. But man alive, great coverage.
On 2nd and 11, another play fake. Roethlisberger going to throw it wide open. He has the tight end, Heath Miller. Miller up the sideline and bumped out of bounds, close to the Miami 30-yard line.
Well, everybody knows the NFL is about matchups, and Roethlisberger right away identified that Aiken Adell, number 51 right there, had man responsibility on Heath Miller, and Aiken Adell can, by and large, not handle that assignment. That is asking an awful lot in single coverage. He's got no safety help over the top, and Heath Miller is way too talented, way too shifty, and way too fast of a tight end for Adell to make a daily habit of trying to run with him downfield.
37-yard pickup on the play. You see the Steelers tied for second in the NFL in completions of 20 or more yards. Here's Mendenhall. Bouncing inside the 20 to about the 19-yard line.
And again, we're looking at an offense now that passes first and runs second, and you can set up the run by passing. And Ben Roethlisberger, with some effective play action, has opened this up, softened it a little bit, and then Mendenhall finds a soft opening off a right guard.
Dan, you talked about slow starts for the Miami Dolphins this season. Tony Sperano, when we asked him last night, he said, I wish I knew. I wish I knew the reason.
When you consider their last two games, trailing 27-0 and 24-6, hard to win in this league, spotting your opponent that kind of a head start.
First down at the Miami 19. Mendenhall again. Maybe a yard. Reggie Tormore, the starter inside for Channing Crowder today, making the tackle.
Well, Heath Miller is having a sensational season, and there he comes in motion, and then he's going to come back inside with a wham block, and that's asking a lot to get a tight end to come back in and take on a defensive end, that time Philip Merling, but good leverage by Miller. He got down low, put Merling on the ground.
Seventh play of this drive, 2nd and 9. And again, Roethlisberger spreads the field. To the 10-yard line, complete to Hines Ward. That'll be about a yard short of a first down.
Well, Ben is so comfortable distributing the ball, and that's because of the talent that he has. Not just at both wide receiver positions, but Heath Miller at the tight end. And then he's got the promising speedster, Mike Wallace, who can come along and learn from guys like Ward and Holmes. It's a fantastic mix for Ben Roethlisberger, choosing where to go with the football.
3rd and 1. Mendenhall will look for the first down and get it. Right over down. To about the 7-yard line, it'll be 1st and goal for the Steelers.
Well, this has been a beautifully executed drive by Pittsburgh up to this point. A nice mix of screens, of running the football, of going downfield, and Roethlisberger has put the football exactly where he wanted to every time he's thrown it so far on this drive. It's 4 for 4.
Again, it's Mendenhall, and Mendenhall to about the 5. Rashard Mendenhall, over 1,000 yards rushing on the season, 7 rushing touchdowns and 1 on the receiving end. And the youngster out of Illinois has impressed his Pittsburgh teammates and his head coach.
That's the guy that really matters.
11th play of this drive. Play fake. Roethlisberger looking, still looking, and throws all the way to the back of the end zone, incomplete, intended for Miller. A perfect example of how Ben Roethlisberger buys himself all kinds of time.
Well, he's been afforded a couple good looks in the pocket. Remember, the one ended up in a Joey Porter sack, but that wasn't through any fault in the protection. But this is, again, Ben with a moving pocket, his ability to get outside. That's a throw that was half of a throwaway and half of a throw where Heath Miller would have had to make it a total circus catch for that to end up being a touchdown.
Coming up on a 7-minute drive for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is 3rd and goal. Roethlisberger pumps, now throws, touchdown. Santonio Holmes.
And Holmes looked to me like he was at least option number 3 for Ben Roethlisberger, who appeared to go to both sides of the field initially, and then finally he locks onto Holmes, who's in the middle unattended. Here's Ben. He's looking to the left, working pump. Now he looks back to the right. Oops, who's that all alone in the middle of the field? There's Santonio Holmes, and Miami just, you lose track of somebody like that, and Roethlisberger will find him. That's Vontae Davis, who's being looked at by the Miami training staff. Looks like something with his left forearm or wrist.
Jeff Reed for the extra point. It is good. He's 39 for 39 on PATs on the season. Ben Roethlisberger's 24th touchdown pass of the year as the Steelers up 7. On their 80-yard scoring drive, the Pittsburgh Steelers converted all 3 of their third downs. Ben Roethlisberger was 5 out of 6, including the 5-yard touchdown pass to Santonio Holmes.
The sack by Joey Porter, the lone negative on that drive.
Ted Ginn Jr. deep for the kick. They have no desire to kick it to the man who has returned 2 for touchdowns, but Gibbons has his hand on the ball, and here he comes. Down at the 35-yard line. That's where Chad Henne and the Miami Dolphins will try to pull even when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. Verizon Wireless, America's largest 3G network. And by Acura. Acura Advance.
Hard to complain about the scenery in South Florida as you take another look, and we'll remind you throughout the day, the Steelers need to win. And Houston lost, and you see the other options there. Right now, Houston is leading New England by a 7-0 score. For the Miami Dolphins, the Dolphins have to win, and they need those 4 teams, Houston, Jacksonville, Baltimore, and the New York Jets, to lose today. Complicated, Dan.
Well, that's the kind of help you'd expect a team that currently has a losing record to need. The Dolphins at 7-8, they're extremely fortunate to even have a prayer, and a prayer is about all they have.
Chad Henne going to give it to Ricky Williams, and Williams up the middle to midfield and a first down. Ryan Clark made the tackle.
Well, that looks like the way you draw it up and practice it on Wednesday and Thursday with that kind of a hole to the inside. Nice block by Fasano coming back to the inside. And we'll take a look at this from upstairs in the blimp. Man, Ricky's got to be going, I like this. It's going to be a real story, though, following Williams and that sore neck and shoulder of his.
Lex Hilliard into the lineup, and Henne going to throw outside, and that is complete inside the 45-yard line. Fighting to the 41 is Greg Camarillo. Chad Henne is the Miami quarterback. Stepped in week 3 for injured Chad Pennington. He is 7-5 as a starter, and the second-year quarterback from Michigan, getting some pretty good reviews for his performance this season.
Well, what he's done is he's grown. He's gotten better as the season has progressed, and I think that most of South Florida, and I say most of South Florida, thinks that they have now identified their quarterback of the future.
On 2nd and 1, it's Williams, and Williams has the first down inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. Miami's offensive line has Henne's teammate from Michigan, Jake Long, at left tackle, voted to the Pro Bowl as a starter. The backs and the receivers and the veteran Ricky Williams has stepped up in the absence of injured Ronnie Brown. Ricky with 11 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving. Thought it was a great story, Dan, that he told about when Ronnie Brown got hurt. He showed up at practice on Wednesday, and Bill Parcells had left a gas can at his locker.
Ever the prodder and poker, Bill Parcells wanted to know, Ricky, you got any gas left in that tank? You're going to have to show us here the rest of the year.
Henne throwing. Incomplete at the 30-yard line, intended for Ted Ginn. Let's check Pittsburgh's 3-4 defense. It's missing veteran Brett Kiesel up front. Nick Eason starts for him at defensive end. 2 killer pass rushers at linebacker. Lamar Woodley has 11.5 sacks on the year. James Harrison has 10. In the secondary, safety Troy Polamalu missing his 11th game this season with the knee injury. Tyrone Carter starts in his place. On 2nd and 10, 2 tight ends now onto the field for the Dolphins. Max protection as Henny throws, and that's complete to Devon Bess at about the 35-yard line.
Greg, I thought it was interesting. We talked to Lamar Woodley yesterday, a Michigan teammate of Chad Henne and Jake Long. But he said, you know what, Chad Henne, all the time I was at Michigan, he would just torture us during practice. And of course, we could never hit him because he was our own quarterback. But I spent years just dreaming of being able to level Chad Henne, and today I finally get my chance. So much for teammates loving one another. Hey, he has a great deal of respect from Chad. They're good friends, but he's been looking forward to this opportunity.
Henne now on 3rd and 7. Stepping up and throws and has his man complete inside the 25. Brian Hartline, the rookie out of Ohio State. Michigan to Ohio State for a first down.
Just seems to be wrong on so many different levels, but it's working for the Dolphins. Really a nice tight spiral by Chad Henne. And take a look at this. Vernon Carey and Lamar Woodley. This is going to be a matchup we're going to follow all day, and that was nice work by Carey. Woodley loves to get close enough where he can strip that ball. Lamar Woodley has become one of the premier pass rushers in this game, but give that edge there to Vernon Carey.
Here comes the blitz on 1st down, the end around Hartline. Hartline turning the corner and out of bounds at about the 20-yard line.
Well, that play got strung out. Ziggy Hood, their rookie defensive end for Pittsburgh, their #1 pick. He did his job, didn't give up contain. But I think everyone in the Dolphins organization realizes, when he didn't play much last year, Chad Pennington did all the heavy lifting in 2008. Is Chad Henne the guy? Is he not the guy? I don't think there's many questions left to be answered.
On 2nd and 6, he gives us to Lex Hilliard, and Hilliard inside the 15 to about the 10-yard line. It'll be a first down.
Whoa, now that's the way you finish a run. Right over the top of Ryan Clark. Tony Sperano told us he's very comfortable with Lex Hilliard being in there running the ball. Watch the way he finishes this run. Right over the top of Ryan Clark. Clark gets credit for the tackle here, but he pays a price for it. Lamar Woodley comes in with the assist, but that's good power running by Hilliard.
First down, just outside the 10-yard line. And a quick pass outside, complete, inside the 5, looking for the end zone, touchdown. Lex Hilliard.
And this is the type of pass that Chad Henne told us, I need to work on my ability to throw the shorter ball without overpowering it. Just throw a catchable ball. And that's exactly what he did right here. Take a look at that. That is not a rocket. That's not a missile. Puts it right on the hands of Hilliard. And we have seen both of these quarterbacks here on their opening drives play really good football.
Dan Carpenter for the extra point. 9 plays, 66 yards. Chad Henne throws his 12th touchdown pass of the season, and the Miami Dolphins answer a Pittsburgh touchdown with one of their own. 7-7 here in Miami.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T. Rowe Price. Understanding the connections of today's complex global economy. Invest with confidence. And by the all-new Accord Cross Tour from Honda. Versatility modernized.
Welcome back to Miami. The Steelers from their own 33-yard line. Roethlisberger looking to engineer a drive like the first one, which resulted in a touchdown pass. This is Mendenhall. Mendenhall across the 35 and bulls his way out to the 39-yard line. A reminder remind you, the MetLife blimp providing today's aerial coverage. Look for the MetLife blimps as they team up with CBS for more coverage this season.
61 degrees here at kickoff. Cool for South Florida, but something tells me the vast majority of people in our viewing audience would settle for 61. It is cold in most of America, as you know.
On 2nd and 4, Roethlisberger throwing this side of the field incomplete. Pass intended for Hines Ward. You asked for it, Dan. You got it. James Brown in New York, JV.
Greg and Dan, potentially a big blow in the first. Greg Gumbel and Dan Beardoff.
All right, JB, thank you. Pittsburgh 3 out of 3 on 3rd downs. This is a 3rd and 4. Roethlisberger escapes the blitz and diving and looks to have come up just short of a 1st down. Jason Taylor in pursuit.
Nathan Jones gets dropped to his knees by Roethlisberger, giving him a little hip swivel. Right from the bottom, 33, watch this. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Excuse me, not to his knees, to his rear end. Wow, he's going to take a little ribbing when they watch that in the defensive back meeting room. I know Ben is a big quarterback, but wow, that's a lot of respect being paid by a DB on a blitz.
The measurement just short. And let's see what Mike Tomlin decides to do. Roethlisberger back onto the field.
How gambling of a mood is he in?
By the way, Jones on the field because Vontae Davis has suffered a wrist injury and his return today is questionable. 4th and inches.
Well, Mike Tomlin's got a big, strong, physical quarterback. He's not afraid to let him run in there on a quarterback sneak, but I think this is a sign of respect to what Miami did on their last offensive drive when Henny took him right down the field.
Mendenhall is the back behind Roethlisberger. Well, he'll keep it. And it looks like he got it by a little bit.
You know, one of the things that Miami has been doing early in this game is backing their defensive line off the ball a good, foot and a half. Well, I don't think I'd do that when you only need 6 inches for the 1st down. Take a look at this line. Look how they are a good foot off the ball. They kind of conceded the distance that it takes to pick up that 1st down. Sometimes defensive lines will get back off the ball and puts them in a position to read, react, slip blocks. That's important on 1st down. On 4th and 6 inches, don't ever concede that space.
Line of scrimmage, the Pittsburgh 44.
See right there, they're almost a yard off the ball there.
Here's Mendenhall. Bounces to the outside and across the 45 to the 46-yard line.
Well, it was a pretty darn good opening drive by Big Ben and the Pittsburgh offense. Finds the rookie Mike Wallace right there. Heath Miller is tight end. He loved that matchup. But look at the accuracy, putting it right on the hands. And typically for Big Ben, look how everybody involved there. Wallace to Miller to Ward to Holmes. He gets all of his playmakers involved on the very first drive.
Second and 8. Roethlisberger will play fake. Has time. Gonna go deep. Wide open down the middle of the field. It is caught inside the 5. Touchdown to Mike Wallace, the rookie.
That ball stayed in the air so long. Mike Wallace must have thought that stopwatch was ticking like 60 minutes. Boy, you could see right there that his defender actually ran into another Steeler receiver. That's why he's all by himself, and Chris Clemens so late coming over.
Wallace's 6th touchdown catch. is good. In the final 25 seconds now of the first quarter, the Steelers jump back on top. Back and forth we go. Pittsburgh leads it 14-7. They play fantasy football during the postseason for a chance to win $5,000. Sign up now for Playoff Challenge at cbssports.com/fantasy. 6 plays, 67 yards, and the rookie Mike Wallace on the receiving end. And another low kick. This one picked off at the 20-yard line by Lou Polite. And he returns it to about the 30-yard line or just across. And let's go back to the touchdown, Dan.
Well, how does Mike Wallace get this open? Here he is right here. He's going to come. But watch his defender as he comes across. He's going to get picked off by his own guy. And that's how Wallace gets so open. Right here, they come on the cross, and the two Miami defenders end up knocking each other to the ground. And Ben quickly identifies Mike Wallace all by himself. Pretty easy throw and catch.
20 seconds to play here in the first quarter.
Easy for me to say, right?
And he gives it to Polite. And Polite across the 35 to about the 36. And with that, time will run down here in the first quarter. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns. The edge to the Steelers. We've come to the end of one here in Miami. It's 14-7 Pittsburgh. Commissioner Roger Goodell joins us right after this. As we get ready to start the second quarter, welcome back to Miami, everyone. We're pleased to be joined by Roger Goodell, Commissioner of the National Football League. Happy New Year to you, first and foremost.
Happy New Year to you, too, Greg.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, Roger.
Happy New Year.
We're going to talk to you about the Pro Bowl, but we would be remiss if we didn't ask you about something that really is just burning up the airwaves everywhere, and that's the competitive spirit of some teams towards the end of the season. Where do you come in on that?
Well, I think the integrity of our game is the most important thing we do. And, you know, we want our players to play and we want our teams to win. I think we've got to do more structurally to incent people to win and to play. And I don't blame the coaches in Indianapolis for what they did. I understand exactly what they did, but we've got to create that incentive.
We keep an eye on the play. There's a report out this morning that you're considering draft choices to teams in order to keep them competitive.
Well, we're considering a lot of different things. We've talked with our competition committee. We're talking with John Madden's committee. How do you incent people to do it and reward them? I don't think you can punish people for not playing. The other thing I think that has to happen is I think you have to make it clear to the public that you're not going to be playing somebody, just like we do with our injury reports.
Kenny and the Dolphins looking at a 3rd and 3. They trail Pittsburgh by a 14-7 score. A reminder, both these teams need a win to keep playoff hopes alive, and that'll be a first down close to midfield.
But Roger, on the collective bargaining front, is there reason for optimism? I know it's still early, but we're all looking for any positive signs.
Well, I think the positive sign is that they're talking. The owners' representatives and the players' representatives are talking. I think there's a recognition that there's an opportunity here to create a new system that'll be good for the players and good for the game and allow the game to continue to grow. So I think that's the most optimistic thing right now.
We know you're looking ahead to the Pro Bowl coming here to Miami in a couple of weeks. Are you catching any heat about the timing of the Pro Bowl this year, coming between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl?
Actually, Greg, we're seeing exactly the opposite. Is that this is a great way to lead up to the Super Bowl by playing the Pro Bowl here in Miami on January 31st, and that this will start the Super Bowl week and be a better platform for us to promote our great players.
You don't catch any heat anyway in your job, do you?
I'm sort of used to heat. I'm going to get one way or the other, Greg.
I'm on the verge of dating myself, but I've actually played in Pro Bowls before they were in Hawaii. One of them was here in Miami, because that's the way it used to be. It rotated around to different cities, and those cities were excited about hosting a Pro Bowl.
And this city is we've already sold more tickets to the game here in Miami than we did in Hawaii. So, you know, Hawaii's been a great place for us. We're going to go back again the next 2 years, and we hope to rotate in Hawaii. But the reality is this is a great way to be able to promote our players and give them a bigger stage.
It's kind of interesting. The Dolphins 1st and 10, by the way, just outside the 40-yard line of the Steelers. And hitting the throw, and that's incomplete. Interesting, all the number of different scenarios on this final week of the regular season. I'm sure your guys back in the NFL office are just as busy as our researchers back in New York with all the possibilities.
There are, and I think that's the exciting thing for our fans and for the game is that we've got so many possibilities this weekend that that's great for our people to be able to follow, and it'll make her a great last weekend here.
And there's rumors that there's actually going to be a Super Bowl played here in South Florida coming up. Any truth to that?
There is truth to that. I'm not sure who'll be there, but we will be here.
Well, if you have an idea, will you please let us know ahead of time?
Well, we're glad to have you guys with us.
That pass is complete, and that's a first down to Devon Bess. And Commissioner, our thanks to you joining us. I know you have all kinds of things to get busy with this weekend. Good
Well,
luck
we
to
appreciate all the things you guys do for us and look forward to that road to the Super Bowl with CBS.
Good luck to you.
Thanks, Greg.
You know what, Roger? I'll tell you what, in a tough economy, it's really thrilling to see how the popularity of the NFL is held up. For those of us that love the game, it's kind of a feel-good moment.
You know, it's one of the nice things. I think we've been able to play some role in making people feel better about themselves and giving them the opportunity to get away from those daily troubles. So we know what's going on out there with our fans.
Commissioner, thank you.
Okay, Dan.
Commissioner Roger Goodell, the National Football League, joining us as Henny looks to throw, and that's outside, and that is complete. And the Steelers continue to give the Dolphins a little room to complete passes. Chad Henne looking cool as a cucumber, Dan.
Well, he is, and he's throwing an accurate ball, and you know, that's just a nice job. You know, it may not be the tightest spiral in the world, but you know, a lot of times those things are pretty easy to catch.
Here's Troy Polamalu.
And not where you want him if you're a Steeler fan, on the sidelines in street clothes.
His 11th game missed this season with that knee injury, and Ricky Williams spun down in the backfield. And with that, we take you back to New York once again. Here's JB. James.
Hey, Greg, Houston needs a win, and Greg Gumbel and Dan Deardorff.
All right, JB, thank you. How about that report from Charlie Casserly this morning as you look at what we have told you earlier? The Miami Dolphins will be eliminated with a Houston victory. Charlie Casserly's report on Tom Brady. Henne throwing over the middle. That's complete. Inside the 20. Devon Bess to about the 11-yard line.
Well, Devon Bess has really come on. And this is second year here with the Dolphins, and you can see Chad Henne showing some pocket mobility, and a nice job by Bess of just sitting down in the middle of that zone and making himself a target. And Dick LeBeau, the 71-year-old defensive coordinator of the Steelers, he's just not used to watching people go down the field on his defense like this.
Here's Ricky Williams. Williams to the 10. And just inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. Ryan Clark with the tackle.
Greg, you got to be complimentary of the Dolphins offensively, the way they're responding to Pittsburgh scoring.
It's been punch, counter punch.
Yes, it has. And Tony Sperano, there's a lot to like about the way he and Bill Parcells and Jeff Ireland have put together this Miami roster. It is a no-nonsense business of building a football team. Remember, a couple years ago, 1-15.
On 2nd and 8, the give is to Ricky. To about the 7. And Tyrone Carter filling in at strong safety today for Polamalu, makes the stop. Here's Mike Tomlin. A lot to like about the way he runs his football program, too.
But what a head-scratcher his football team is. I look back at that 5-game losing streak that the Steelers went through, and you look at it, a loss to Kansas City, a loss to Oakland, and a loss to Cleveland. 3 of hardly the upper echelon teams in the NFL.
3rd and 6. Miami can get a first down without getting a touchdown. Short drop. The pass at the goal line is knocked down incomplete. Knocked down by William Gay. It was intended for Brian Hartline, and that'll bring the field goal unit on.
Boy, and Hartline, he kind of came up a little bit hobbled as he heads back to the sideline. And at first blush, I thought this throw was back behind Hartline. Yeah, it sure was. That had a chance at being a touchdown if Henne throws it out in front. But instead, he threw it way behind in a position where Gay is able to come in and make the play. And Hartline, whoa, did he get his left leg caught underneath him.
And he's being looked at on the sideline as Dan Carpenter lines up from 25 yards out. And it's good. 9:21 to play here in the first half. 3 more for Miami. 14-10 Steelers. Welcome back. We just watched that play at the goal line, and they are looking at the left ankle or the foot of Brian Hartline on the sideline. And if you could read lips there, he just said, that's sore.
Yeah, Hartline really had to dig to try to come back. Brian Hartline and I are from the same high school in Canton, Ohio.
Meanwhile, we are told that Wes Welker, saw JB's update on Welker, we are told he will not return to the game against Houston.
Well, leaving on a cart is never a good sign, and again, we just keep our fingers crossed. You cannot like the game of football and not love the way a guy like Wes Welker plays it. You just can't.
This is Logan on the run at the 5. Bounces to the outside at the 25. 40. What a return by Stefan Logan, the first-year man out of South Dakota. Roethlisberger and the Steelers back on the attack when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by HTC, phones that get you. Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. And by the Home Depot, more saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Hey, if you thought the NFL fantasy football season was over, it is not. Sign up for NFL.com Playoff Challenge today, only at NFL.com/fantasy. Pittsburgh with the football at their own 44-yard line, and you see what they've done on their first 2 possessions, an 80-yard drive, a 67-yard drive.
Well, that 67-yard drive ended up with that long touchdown pass to Mike Wallace because a couple of the Dolphins defenders ran into one another. And ever vigilant Ben spotted it and converted it into 6.
Willie Parker into the game for the first time today in the backfield behind Roethlisberger, and he gets the handoff. And he sprints across midfield inside the 45, and a first down for the Steelers.
Well, the Steelers got off to a hot start. They were first in their division, tied with the Bengals at a 6-2. And then that 5-game losing streak we talked about a little bit ago, those 3 losses just, boy, they just stick out. And then they had to, and they did win their last 2. But again, they need a considerable amount of help to make the playoffs. But the first step, they must beat the Dolphins here today. The reverse is true for the Dolphins as well.
The good news for the Dolphins, Vontae Davis back into the lineup, and Parker trying to turn the corner. Vontae Davis makes that tackle. So the rookie comes back onto the field, the first-round draft pick of the Dolphins out of Illinois.
Really an interesting scenario here for Willie Parker. This is his contract year. He's been bothered with a shoulder, and it's just going to be interesting to see how he figures into Pittsburgh's long-range plans. It's pretty apparent that Rashard Mendenhall has become the go-to guy. Mewelde Moore is a very versatile back, especially in the passing game. So who knows about Willie Parker?
Jason Allen into the secondary in place of Davis now on 2nd and 7. Roethlisberger, low flip, penalty marker is down. Inside the 35-yard line is the tight end, Heath Miller. Our referee today is Bill Levy, and let's check the flag.
Offside, number 99 defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Jason Taylor offside.
Well, Jason Taylor has been anticipating snap counts ever since he got in the league. Like all great pass rushers, you can't be a good pass rusher if you don't guess every now and then on the snap count, because that little microsecond can be the difference between close and an actual sack.
Jason Taylor, born and raised in Pittsburgh, a Steelers fan until he was 21 years old. Play fake to Parker. Roethlisberger lost the football. Looked like the Steelers fell on the ball.
Did Trey Essex get on top of it?
It was Trey Essex, the right guard.
Well, Ben Roethlisberger will tell you that getting sacked is just a cost of doing business. Kendall Langford was the guy that hit coming in here. If he's going to come in from the left, right there. And boy, he does a good job of getting that left arm onto Roethlisberger's arm.
And we have a challenge from the Steelers on the far side of the field.
If we could look at that one more time, even though he hit Ben's arm, was Ben still able to move his arm forward before he lost control of the ball? That's what's going to determine. No question there's contact. Boy, that'll be tight. That is razor close.
Bill Levy will take a look, and we'll take a break. Referee Bill Levy continues to look at the replays, and as you take a look, there seems to be plenty to support Mike Tomlin's side of the field.
Well, yeah, this angle right here it gives us one look at it. We've got another look for you that actually is much more definitive. This one right here. Don't fall in love with his arm being hit. Does he still have control of the football when he starts going forward? Yes, he does. I think Ben, even though Langford got his hand on Ben's arm, Ben was still strong enough to start a forward motion while maintaining control of the football. And if you do both of those at the same time and then it comes out, that's an incomplete pass.
Looks for all the world like an incomplete pass. 6:55 to play here in the second quarter. Here comes Bill Levy.
After reviewing the play, the quarterback's arm was going forward. It's an incomplete pass. With the game clock operator put 7:17 on the game clock. It'll be second down and 10 at the 32-yard line.
Maintains control
Pittsburgh
of the football.
is not charged a timeout.
He had the football all the way through that up until the very end. Ben has huge hands and a very strong guy, and his ability to hold on to the football like that, even though his forearm and elbow are being hit by a defensive end, that's pretty impressive.
So now it is 2nd and 10 at the Miami 32. Instead of it being 2nd and 20. And Mendenhall is back into the Pittsburgh backfield. Roethlisberger flips it to Mendenhall with blockers in front of him. 25, up the sideline, inside the 10-yard line. To about the 6. It'll be 1st and goal.
Well, I think a well-executed and designed screenplay is a beautiful thing. And look at this right there. Mendenhall's got 2 blockers out in front of him. He's got Hartwig and Essex. He shows patience, allows them to do their job, skirts the sideline, and then goes back into the middle of the field. But Mendenhall allowed that play to set up. And let me tell you, offensive linemen love being able to get out in front and make a difference like that.
Willie Parker in the backfield, and Miami takes a timeout.
I think Miami only had 10 guys.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Sony Bravia HD TV. High definition, it's in Sony's DNA. And by Sirius XM. Hear how satellite radio is changing the way you listen.
The ever-popular Joe Stone Crab here in South Florida.
This is the city where the old saying, "Eat it, Joe's," really means something.
1st and goal. Willie Parker in the backfield behind Roethlisberger from the 6-yard line. Parker runs into his own man and crosses the 5 to about the 4.
I would have expected Willie Parker to make a sharper cut than that back into the hole than running into his own guy. Now we had a shoelace and a cleat intertwined down there, making it a little hard to get back to your huddle.
Pittsburgh with perfect balance today. 12 ground attempts, 12 pass attempts. 2nd and goal. Roethlisberger throws, tipped it to the line, incomplete. And it will be 3rd and goal. Let's see who got a hand up.
Well, this is Jason Taylor here at the bottom, 99, and it's Jason. I'll tell you what about Jason Taylor. He didn't try to bat this ball down. He tried to catch it. He goes up with 2 hands, and it's got a lot of juice on it and goes right through his hands. Nobody can ever say Jason Taylor doesn't have awareness out on the field.
3rd and goal. Quick pass, incomplete inside the 5.
And that was good work by Jabril Wilson of reading that route, realizing that it's 5 yards to the end zone, and inside that zone you can get physical. There he is working against Mewelde Moore. He timed his hit. Moore's looking for a flag, but no, that's not going to, that flag's never going to get thrown down there in that area. Not with that. That was well done by Wilson.
Jeff Reed will try a field goal from 22 yards out. Everything works to perfection. 23 field goals in a row for Reed. A 1-touchdown lead once again for the Steelers. I want to remind you the playoff scenarios continue. Coming up next, Baltimore at Oakland among our doubleheader games. And if the Ravens win, they are in the postseason. Check your local listings for the game in your area. 52-yard scoring drive for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who lead it by 7.
Well, the Baltimore game's so big because they're in that win and in mode. They don't have to do any scoreboard watching. They just have to take care of their own business.
Meanwhile, Jacksonville in the mix. They're losing to Cleveland 10-3. Houston in the mix. They're losing to New England 10-7. And Jeff Reed will have to tee this one up again. And of course, both these teams looking for a win and looking for help. Steelers behind Roethlisberger have been very impressive offensively. And Ted Ginn will not run this one out of the end zone.
Well, Miami coming into this game at 7-8. They lost Chad Pennington, their starting quarterback. He had such a good year last year, and so they have to turn it over to Chad Henne, and he has performed admirably. He's got 12 touchdowns on the year against 13 picks. And then, of course, everybody knows how much they love to run the Wildcat, but they lost Ronnie Brown, and since then, though, Ricky Williams has stepped in, but when they had to, they were able to suck it up and win the last couple of games to at least, I mean, they lost the last couple of games, which really killed it.
Getting in this position. Far side of the field, and it's intercepted. Deshae Townsend picked it off.
Well, just as we were talking about Chad Henne, 12 touchdowns against 13 interceptions. You can make that 14 interceptions right now, as he did not in any way see Deshae Townsend undercutting the route of Greg Camarillo. Now Camarillo breaks it to the outside, but Townsend has the underneath position. Camarillo could have maybe diagonally come back to the quarterback a little bit more. And that is the first interception by a cornerback for the Steelers all year, if you can believe that.
Only their 10th as a team. Pass out here. Double pass. Holmes throwing far side of the field, and that's intercepted by Jeremiah Bell. The razzle-dazzle doesn't work for Pittsburgh, and back come the Dolphins.
Well, it's a backward pass to start with to Santonio Holmes. That's why he's allowed to throw it. That's a backwards pass, but he throws right into two deep coverage. Look at Jason Taylor running all the way down there with the underneath coverage on a running back. That is extraordinary that Jason Taylor was all the way downfield.
We get 2 turnovers in 9 seconds. And Henne for Ricky Williams. 25. Cut down at about the 28-yard line. Lawrence Timmons making the stop. How about that number?
Well, it has been a real sore spot for Miami and Tony Sperano that they just, you know, this is a team last year that led the NFL in the plus-minus differential category. They were a plus 17. And coming into today, they're a -7. That is just a huge turnaround.
On 2nd and 5, Henning gets time, throws this side, and that's complete to Camarillo, and he will be about a yard shy of a first down. And we come up on 4:15 to play here in the first half.
Yes, Santonio Holmes, you work on that in practice all week, but when you've got that ball in your hands, you just become a quarterback, and you've got to make a decision based on coverage. And that ball should have never been put in the air. It had no chance of being completed into coverage with a safety over the top.
On 3rd and short yardage. And Henny's going to throw for it. Outside. That's complete for the first down to Joey Janos, the tight end from Maryland. Once again, neither of these teams has a shot at the postseason if they don't win here today. The Steelers need a win, a Houston loss, and a Jet or a Baltimore loss, or losses by the Ravens, Denver, and the New York Jets. The Miami Dolphins need a win here, and they need losses by Houston, Jacksonville, Baltimore, and the Jets. And Houston right now is leading 13-10 against New England. On the play fake, Henny under pressure, flipped it, and grabbed in the backfield by Williams.
Boy, there was Lamar Woodley getting his chance at Chad Henne. These former college teammates. Woodley right there, 56, coming in. And they're asking an awful lot because they're asking Justin Smiley to come all the way across the formation and pick up Woodley, and that's tough to do. Ricky Williams was trying to get out there into, to become the safety, and whether or not they had a screen set up, tough to tell. But Lamar Woodley blew that thing up by surprising them on the blitz.
Now Henny on 2nd and 20. Short play. Going to throw it outside. Has his man, and that's complete at midfield. And Hartline back into the lineup. Makes the catch for the first down.
Well, when you saw Brian Hartline earlier in this game get his ankle caught underneath him, you would have thought to yourself, geez, I'm not sure we're going to see him in this game. Not only is he back in there, but he converts on this big play, and well done by Chad Henne. Nice route by Hartline, and look at him. He's limping. He's limping on his way out to his position at wide receiver.
And let's see if they get this off before the 2-minute warning. They do a quick pass out to the side to Ricky Williams, and Williams out of bounds. And with that, we bring up our 2-minute warning at 1:56 to play. We remind you, with all of the playoff scenarios up in the air, join us on the Sprint Halftime Report. JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher will run it all down for you with the latest scores and highlights coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. I mentioned to you, Dan, during the timeout, Ricky Williams looks very quick today, and he's had himself a terrific season, but when we talked to him yesterday, he's pretty adamant about, he has said he wants to call it quits after next season.
He said he's 90% sure that he's got other things he'd like to do in his life. He'll be 33 next year, and he's pretty much decided that's going to be it. If they'll have me, I'll play one more.
2nd and 2. Henny under pressure and goes down. Lamar Woodley.
Lamar Woodley has become an absolute force trying to come in. And this right here, forget about it if you're trying to get a back to block Lamar Woodley. I'm not sure there's a back in the league that can pick up Woodley. That's an assignment that every back in this league is going to lose.
And we get a false start by the Dolphins.
False start, number 15 offense. 5-yard penalty.
It was Devon
Third down. There's no 10-second runoff since it was outside of a minute of the first half.
LaMarr Woodley has had a season worthy of being voted to the Pro Bowl. And, you know, it's all about finishing. How's that? First half of the year, the last half of the year. Now, maybe if he'd have had those 10.5 sacks in the first 8 games, maybe that would have gotten him elected to the Pro Bowl. But, you know, you love guys who play the game in November and December, and LaMarr Woodley is certainly doing that.
Played defensive end his entire career at Michigan. Shows up in Pittsburgh and said, you're a linebacker. 3rd and 13. Henny throwing this side of the field. Best makes the catch. Boy. Inside the 30-yard line, it's a first down.
Boy, Devon Best really had to work to get both feet down. He was really close to that sideline when this pass from Henny gets her. Working against the Pittsburgh zone. And Ryan Clark, by the time he gets over there, take a look at this. Yep, he got that left one down, and then he got the right one down.
And we're going to get a review upstairs.
The previous play is under review.
Let's take one more look at that.
That left foot was kind of going backwards a little bit.
All right, where's possession? Let's start with there's possession.
Now, did that foot slip out of bounds?
That's the question.
The right one came down.
From that angle right there, I'm not sure that it's definitive. Let's look at this one. There's possession.
Now, did that left foot slip out of bounds before the right foot came down?
It slips and then it toe taps, but before it toe taps is the right one down. There's the right one down, and there comes the toe tap. Remember, Bill Levy's going to have to see something 100% conclusive to overturn the call on the field, which was a catch. I mean, it does look like it slides out of bounds.
And I think it slides out of bounds before that right foot comes down.
But that's just, Greg, do you think you see it definitively?
No, I don't see anything definitively.
Well,
I'm just telling you what I thought I saw.
I don't know that Bill Levy, you think to yourself, I think it slid out of bounds, but I'm not sure that we see concrete evidence that it slid.
He has possession here, and the left foot is down. Now it's sliding.
The question is, but you see, there's the right. Now, no, there's no question that the left foot toe comes down out of bounds, but that could have been the third step.
Or, to look at it another way, does that left foot slide out of bounds before? Here's the ref.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
You're right. He didn't see enough to overturn it.
No. Now, Mike Tomlin can't believe it. And I understand, because you think to yourself, well, you know what, I think it was out of bounds, but you can't prove it.
Devon Best, 4 catches for 51 yards. And the Dolphins with a first down at the Pittsburgh 29, a minute 21 to play, and 2 timeouts remaining. Henny throws outside. That is complete to Ted Ginn.
And now there's the arm strength that Miami loves about Chad Henne. Being on the other side of the near hash and making that throw all the way back across the field with the velocity that he does.
1 minute to play here in the first half. Whoa! Loose ball. Picked up by the Dolphins, Vernon Carey. And Miami uses a second timeout to stop the clock.
Well, that's one way to get out of field goal range in a hurry. That is Jake Grove in its center. And Jake has been missing a lot of games here recently because of injury. Joe Berger actually started at center, but they've been working Jake Grove back into the lineup. He was the starter until he hurt his ankle 6 weeks ago, and that snap just went aerial on it.
We were talking about this before the game, Dan, that Chad Henne is one of only 2 quarterbacks in the NFL not to have lost a fumble this season. The other is Peyton Manning.
Well, That actually goes down as a fumble, but they didn't lose it. Technically, I believe that actually on the scoring sheet ends up being a fumble.
Kind of unfair.
Yeah, it is.
Kenny needs the 19-yard line for a first down. Under pressure, and he goes down at the 41.
Guess
once
who?
again, Woodley.
Well, Lamar Woodley finished the Baltimore game last week with back-to-back sacks. And here he is exploding all over Chad Henne. Okay, the last time it was against a back. This time it's against a double team of Anthony Fasano and Lex Hilliard, and he goes between both of them. So I think we've proven that a back and a tight end can't block Woodley. We might have to start putting an offensive tackle on number 56. Well, what kind of a half is Woodley had? He drops Henne there when he comes in on block. There's pressure again on Henne. This ends up being a sack with Henne being driven into the ground, and here comes another one. Lamar Woodley just all over the place. And keep in mind, last year's defensive MVP is on the other side of the ball, and James Harrison.
Noelle Moore is deep for the kick. And he'll call for the fair catch and make the catch at about the 15.5-yard line. Hey, Wednesday on Showtime, JB, Phil Simms, Chris Collinsworth, Warren Sapp come your way with the Emmy Award-winning Inside the NFL, cable's longest-running show. Inside the NFL, Wednesday on Showtime.
Greg, Lamar Woodley a little upset that, you know, some people think, well, you're getting a lot of these because you're just on the other side of the ball from James Harrison, and he gets double-teamed all the time. Well, he said, you don't see how many times I get double-teamed. Quite frankly, there was one look at it right there. That was an assigned double team by Miami, and he went right between Fasano and Hilliard.
34 seconds on the clock, and Roethlisberger from the shotgun. And he'll hand it off to Mendenhall. Mendenhall's changing gears and out to about the 18-yard line. And it looks like both sides will just let the clock wind down on the first half.
Pittsburgh had driven down to the 5-yard line and had to settle for a field goal. It's the reason it's 17-10 instead of 21-10. And I think Tony Sperano not all that upset with the position they're in. Sure beats the last couple of weeks when they've been behind by 3 touchdowns.
Victory an absolute must for both these teams today. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Steelers 17, the Dolphins 10. Back with the spring halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. Welcome back to Miami, everyone. At halftime, Pittsburgh leading Miami by a score of 17-10. And here in Miami, Don Shula celebrating his 80th birthday. That's the celebration on the field. These two teams trying to stay alive for the postseason. Back after this message and a word from your local station. Sights and sounds from Super Bowl 10 as we welcome you back to Miami, where about a month from now, Super Bowl 44 will take place here on CBS. Welcome back, everyone. 17-10 Pittsburgh. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf. We'll say it again. Each of these teams still alive, but they need a win and they need some help.
And they need help going on at various times of the day. They need some help from the 4 o'clock games. They need some help from a game played tonight on Sunday Night Football. So, yeah, it's going to be win and watch for both of these clubs.
These teams would really be better off today if they had conducted themselves like this earlier in the year.
Yeah, because they are both playing really good football. I mean, other than the back-to-back turnovers that we saw there, you know, they're going at it. I mean, they're looking like two good, solid, well-coached and football teams that are executing a decent game plan today.
Yeah, 50 years of the NFL on CBS as we get set to start the second half, coming your way in high definition. And you remember the Dolphins won the toss. They deferred, so they will get their hands on the football first here in the second half. Jeff Reed ready to kick it to Ted Ginn. against the New York Jets earlier this year. He had returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns, one 100, the other 101. This time from the 8-yard line, 25, and out to about the 29-yard line. As we look at some halftime numbers and total yards, both teams piling it up pretty good, Dan.
And you take a look at Miami right here, which is something unusual for them. They're not a real explosive team, and yet 8 plays of 10-plus yards in a half. That is, that's pretty darn good.
Meanwhile, Pat White has come on at quarterback.
Well, this is something the Dolphins do a couple times a game. With Ronnie Brown missing and the Wildcat, this is their version of trying to mix it up.
And he's going to give it to Ricky Williams across the 30 out to the 33-yard line.
Now, normally, Pat White comes in for a play or two, but Chad Henne is standing over on the Miami sideline with a baseball hat on.
Pat White, incidentally, has yet to complete a pass.
There's Chad Henne standing there with a baseball hat on. Where did this come from?
2nd and 6. Once again, Ricky Williams, and not much there, if anything.
Well, I don't, we're scratching our heads up here in the booth trying to figure out what's going on with Chad Henne. This is certainly nothing that we were alerted to, that this was in any way part of the Miami game plan. I don't know if he's got an injury of some type, something that has necessitated him being on the sideline. But this is not their version of the Wildcat with Pat White. Pat White is in there just playing the quarterback position.
Now he's in shotgun and spreading the field on 3rd and 5. And White gets blitzed and blitzed hard inside the 25. Lawrence Timmons came right up the gut.
Boy, and Pat White sitting on the ground giving that what the heck was that just ran over me. Right up the guard center gap on a loop comes Lawrence Timmons, totally unblocked. The left guard goes out. Jake Long tries to come back to the inside and make the adjustment, but Timmons had a step on everybody and steamrolls Pat White.
3rd sack by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now a latecomer onto the field. Number 22, William Gay. This is a returnable kick. Stephon Logan, right up the middle, midfield, and net at about the 46-yard line. 12:48 to play, 3rd quarter. Pittsburgh comes up with a stop on the first Miami possession, and they'll take over when we come back. There's number 7, Chad Henne. You're looking at his first half numbers. We are being told he suffered an eye injury in the first half, and his return is questionable. That is why Pat White was the quarterback on the first offensive series here in the second half.
Well, right now, down a touchdown, and the Steelers setting up shop inside Miami territory. That the Miami defense is going to have to really suck it up and stiffen here, or this game going to be close to getting away from them.
Pittsburgh with a 2nd and 7 at the Miami 42. Heath Miller in motion. The give is to Mendenhall, and Mendenhall pulled up short at the 40-yard line.
One of the things that Pittsburgh has to do is to fight a tendency they've had all season long. They've been a good first half team. They've scored 80 more points in the first half of games this year than their opponents. And there's the second half. Look at that. They've been outscored by 32 in the second half. This from the defending Super Bowl champions who always wrote the book on how to close the deal.
And Mike Tomlin had a loss to explain why. 3rd and 5. Play clock down to 1. And under pressure, he got rid of it. Incomplete.
Joey Porter, Jason Taylor both talked to us about just because you have the body of Ben Roethlisberger doesn't mean you have him to the ground. And that's exactly what Nathan Jones finds out right there. I may have the body, I may have my arms encircled around his waist. I do not have him down.
They said you have to tackle the football. Devon Best, fair catch at his own 10-yard line. 11:09 to play, third quarter. 17-10 Steelers. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS hits the home stretch to the Super Bowl with the AFC wild card. Build-up begins with JB, Dan, Coach, Shannon, and Boomer on a special playoff edition of the NFL Today. Both these teams needing a win and needing help today. One of the teams that figures into the mix, the Houston Texans. They're tied at 13 with New England. Cleveland is leading Jacksonville.
Jacksonville figures into the scenarios for the Dolphins. Pittsburgh is not concerned with what Jacksonville does, but certainly Miami is. But Miami's got their own business to take care of here as they're down by a touchdown.
Miami needs a defensive stand and some decent field position. From the 10-yard line, Mendenhall. Maybe 2 yards.
Well, there's a flag on the field. Thrown back in the secondary.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Tony Sperano doesn't like it. Well, I'm just going to guess.
Bill Levy not identifying who it's on other than just a member of the Miami defense. Where the flag was, it almost certainly had to be against someone involved with one of the Pittsburgh receivers. The flag was about 10 yards downfield.
So that brings the Steelers out from the shadow of their own goalpost out across the 25-yard line. Mendenhall again. Nice cutback across the 30. Out to about the 32-yard line. And the New England Patriots have scored a touchdown to pull to a 20-13 lead over Houston.
I guess they did it with a long interception return, 91 yards, we're being told.
And the Jacksonville Jaguars trailing the Cleveland Browns 20-3. Pass intended for Santonio Holmes.
Yeah, right there, Holmes kind of running a bit of an option where he's going to break off that pattern, and that's where Ben thought he was going to break it one way and Holmes the other. He gets the outside release right there, and we're working against the rookie Sean Smith, and he just didn't break it as far to the inside or as far downfield as Ben thought he was.
Only 15 total yards since those first 3 scoring drives. The Steelers, Mwelde Moore in the backfield and spreading out to the far top of the screen. 4 straight incompletions thrown by Roethlisberger, and he calls a timeout.
Well, he got Jabril Wilson to show the blitz.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Viagra and by BlackBerry.
Back in sunny Miami, if you want to set your watch, 35 days and counting, the Super Bowl 44. Right here on CBS. 3rd and 4. Pittsburgh looking for its first down of this 3rd quarter. Roethlisberger on the run. Got a first down. Heading for the sideline and is out of bounds at about the 44.
Well, Ben can run But normally when Roethlisberger moves, he moves with the intent of throwing the football. Not normally to head upfield, but there was just too much space there to turn down and too easy to pick up the first down. But when Roethlisberger moves away from his position in the pocket, it's normally to move to throw the football. That is priority number one for Ben Roethlisberger.
First down at the 45. Quick pass out to the side. That's Hines Ward. And Ward midfield and out of bounds, but another Steeler first down. And with that, we take you off to New York to James Brown. JB.
Greg and Dan, Houston hurting it.
Thank you, JB. A Houston loss would benefit the winner here greatly. First down at the Miami 42. Mendenhall breaks the tackle, slips away. 25, 20, 15, inside the 10. It'll be first and goal for the Steelers. Jabril Wilson saved the touchdown. 36 yards.
Well, Rashard Mendenhall has really figured this game out. You could see that cutback lane. You could see it the minute he took the handoff. The entire backside of the Miami defense had disappeared. And he just finds that crease going to the backside, and the more he cut back, the bigger the crease got. No backside contained at all that time for Miami.
Seventh play of this 84-yard drive. 3 tight ends and a timeout. Pittsburgh calls its second timeout here in the second half. 5:13 to play in the third quarter. Coach Tony Sperano knows the Dolphins cannot afford to lose and stay alive. The same goes for the Steelers. First and goal from the 6. Mendenhall, a yard to the 5.
Well, he also knows, Greg, that if they fall behind by 24-10 margin, that he's taken a look at Pat White as his quarterback, a guy who hasn't even completed a pass yet, and talk about asking for some type of a miracle comeback. That would be that's what they'd need.
They've had plenty of practice this latter part of the season. Second and goal. Faking the pitch to Mendenhall and the quick flip to Heath Miller. And Miller fights to about the 3.
Well, the one thing I think you have to say, you can never look at this Miami defensive unit and say they aren't expending effort. These guys are fighting their tails off. They know the situation. They know who's in at quarterback. They know that Chad Henne's hurt with an eye injury. They've given up some big plays, but this group of Paul Pasqualone's, by God, they're fighting.
Third and goal. Roethlisberger with time, still with time, on the move, throws, caught in the back of the end zone, touchdown to Heath Miller.
Well, Heath Miller at 6'5", 256 pounds, looking like Santonio Holmes, working the feet in the back of the end zone. All right, right there, Ben breaks the pocket. And take a look at his ability to get the 2 feet down and the awareness of where he was, keeping himself inside the end zone. That was a heck of a job by Heath Miller.
Jeff Reed with the extra point, and it is good. A 90-yard drive capped by Roethlisberger's 3rd touchdown pass of the day.
Well, Heath Miller was rewarded with a new contract by the Steelers, and it's plays like that. This guy had 48 receptions last year. He's now into the mid-70s. That's the type of improvement. And again, you know, look, Roethlisberger could have run that ball into the end zone. It looked to me like he could have trotted right in. But his first inclination is to throw after Jason Allen fell down. The big guy goes up with the soft hands. And the good feet. And Ben launches this thing. That's got a little on it. Boy, that's beautiful. That's great work at both ends of it by Heath Miller.
And Pittsburgh with its biggest lead of the day.
If that ball would have not been caught, Big Ben would have said to himself, man, why didn't I just run it in the end zone?
Nice job by Heath Miller tiptoeing on the back end of the end zone.
Well, you know, it started, Greg, by him realizing where he had to put himself in the end zone. That if he had to go up for a ball, he could come down with his feet in bounds. You know, a lot of that is situational awareness. Staying, you know, it sounds simple, but when you're making that break and you're trying to buy time to get away from somebody, you can lose track of where you are, and all of a sudden one foot comes down out of bounds.
Now, Ted Ginn looking for a decent return for the Dolphins. They need some field position. 2 yards deep in the end zone. Won't even make it back to the 20-yard line. He's brought down at about the 18.
Well, here's the significance of what's happening today. Pittsburgh, they're winning here now by 2 touchdowns. They need Houston to lose, and Houston is losing right now. And then later in the day, in a couple different time slots, at 4:15, we're going to have that game here. Baltimore plays Oakland. They need Baltimore to lose, or the Jets to lose tonight in that game against Cincinnati. So right now, Pittsburgh taking care of their part of the bargain and getting help by the fact that Houston right now is losing by a touchdown.
Pat White going to run it. Tackled after maybe a 1-yard gain, and this Miami offense is really non-existent right now. The last 4 possessions for the Dolphins.
Well, Chad,
an interception and 3 punts.
Yeah. And Chad Henne played the entire first half, played well, and then in a surprise did not start the second half. We got notified that he sustained some type of an eye injury. His return was questionable, but it certainly doesn't look like under any circumstances Henne's coming back in this game.
The give is to Ricky Williams. Williams brought down at the 20-yard line.
And Pat White, who's quarterbacking this club, a lot of questions surrounding this Dolphins team investing a second-round draft choice. Keep in mind, Chad Henne was a second-round pick, and Pat White was a second-round pick in back-to-back years. Henne in 08, and then White this year.
There's no question that it doesn't seem the forward pass is not in the offensive scheme right now.
Well, it's not like Pat White didn't complete a lot of passes in college, but man, does he just need to get the monkey off his back and complete one in this game.
He's on the move. He's going to run it. And belted out of bounds at about the 24-25-yard line.
Pat White is hurt. He hasn't moved since he took that hit. Oh, he took a huge hit.
Ike Taylor came roaring up from his cornerback position.
Man, we just talked about Pat White being a small guy at 6 feet 190, but not afraid of contact. And he watched this hit. Coming in from the right is going to be Ike Taylor. Helmet to helmet. And wow.
And everything has come to a stop on the far sideline.
Keep in mind, Pat White is a running back, and helmet to helmet hits are just part of tackling a ball carrier.
Every single one of the Steelers on that side of the field taking a knee, and now getting up.
Well, that was a violent collision. You could hear that in the upper deck of the stadium.
And it brings everything to a halt here with 2:05 to play in the third quarter. Coach Tony Sperano coming over to check on his rookie quarterback out of West Virginia. There's Ike Taylor. And Pat White really hasn't moved
Well, they're bringing some paramedics. They're bringing some paramedics out onto the field right now.
And the cart.
Yeah, a member of the Miami training staff went over to the end zone to get the. There comes the cart. The paramedics are just arriving there right now, next to Pat White.
This has brought everything to a screeching halt here with 2:05 to play in the third quarter.
If there's any good news, it appears that Pat White rolled over on his side. And let's be realistic. The first thing you look for is any type of ability to move your extremities, and you work your way down the list from there.
Coach Mike Tomlin on the side, and there's Tyler Thigpen, the number 3 quarterback here today, who looks like he'll be pressed into service in a hurry.
And it's pretty obvious that Chad Henne is not, even though questionable is what we were told his return, it's not happening.
That's Ike Taylor, who applied the hit on the sideline.
Just doing his job.
Steelers coach Mike Tomlin was there. It happened right on the Pittsburgh sideline.
Like every stadium, he'll be taken inside. There's the president of the Miami Dolphins, the head of football operations, Bill Parcells, the guy who drafted Pat White. Like every stadium, they'll take him inside, and they've got sophisticated facilities here in terms of x-rays and everything else. And
Don Shula, who was honored here today at halftime, his 80th birthday today.
He's in the booth next door. That's Jim Mandich on the right, Jimmy Cefalo on the left, part of the Miami radio broadcast team. Couple former great
and there's
Dolphins.
Pittsburgh owner Dan Rooney,
also known as the ambassador, the United States ambassador to Ireland.
He could be an ambassador for anything. You know that?
Well, he's certainly been one thing for many, many years, and that is an ambassador of the game of football. The finest the NFL has to offer when you talk about a guy like Dan Rooney.
Meanwhile, the players continue to mill around as they tend to Pat White. And my guess is they're immobilizing him to an extent before they put him on the stretcher and take him off. When this play happened on the far sideline, some of the Steelers could tell, especially head coach Mike Tomlin.
Well, Greg, just watch the way he goes to the ground. He doesn't move. He doesn't move. Mike Tomlin immediately calling for help. You could see the way he just fell to the ground and didn't move anything. That's an indication right off the bat.
So Pat White's hands are moving. That's a good sign. Mike Tomlin giving his good wishes. as Pat White is about to be taken off to the locker room and some medical care, further medical care. And as soon as we find out anything more, of course, we'll pass it on to you.
Well, when there's an injury this serious, the color of your jersey doesn't matter anymore. It's one fraternity.
Ike Taylor, the man who applied the hit, giving him the final word.
Well, obviously, the second we hear anything, we'll pass it along to you.
Meanwhile, as far as the game goes, it's 4th down, and the Dolphins will kick it away as Pat White disappears into the tunnel. That's Stefan Logan back at his own 28-yard line. 4th straight punt for the Dolphins. This one's not a good one. It'll bounce. Logan looking for running room. Still looking to make something happen. Taking the long way around. Turns the corner. And finally out of bounds at midfield. What a return by Stefan Logan, the first-year man out of South Dakota.
And Greg, what did Mike Tomlin tell us yesterday in our meeting? We're going to find ways to get Logan on the field from scrimmage, not just returning kicks. We're going to try to find some bubble screens because of his ability to do just this. He just makes things happen. This guy's only 5'6" tall. Got a great block there, but this is just speed. This is speed and instinct.
5'6", 180 pounds. Mendenhall to the 49. We are under a minute and a half to play for the 3rd quarter. There's Ike Taylor, no doubt, still thinking about that hit on Pat White.
Well, when you're a player and you've got any sense about you, you know that easily could have been you instead of he.
On 2nd and 7, Roethlisberger eludes the rush, throws, incomplete. Penalty marker.
Oh, Sean Smith. He's going, that can't be on me.
Yes, it can.
Pass interference. Number 24 defense. 1st down, spot of the foul.
All right, let's take a look at this. This is a rookie on Santonio Holmes. He did wrap. He got the left arm around Holmes, and even though he pulled it back, wrapping that left arm around him is what the field judge saw and threw the flag. He got it out there, he pulled it back, but I think by that time the damage had been done.
26-yard penalty. The give to Mendenhall. Mendenhall.
Right over again.
To the 20. To New York, where James Brown has news on New England and Houston. JB.
Greg and Dan, New England. Greg and Dan.
Thank you, JB. That's good news for the winner of today's game. Roethlisberger throwing for the end zone. Nice play at the goal line by Jason Allen. The pass intended for Mike Wallace.
Outstanding coverage by Jason Allen, a former #1 pick here. Good job extending, getting the left hand. Wallace looking for the flag, but that was just superior coverage by Allen. Left his feet at exactly the right time and got the left hand out there and knocked away the ball. Old Ben will try to squeeze it into a window, won't he?
7 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. 3rd and 5. Little shovel pass for Hines Ward. Ward First down inside the 15-yard line to about the 11. And we come to the end of the third quarter with the score. Pittsburgh 24 and Miami 10. Back after this message and a word from your local station. Welcome back to Miami in the start of the fourth quarter. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, our producer Mark Wolf, our director Bob Fishman, our entire CBS Sports crew. Happy New Year, everyone. From the 11-yard line, first down, Roethlisberger looking. On the move. Flips complete to Heath Miller. Banged out of bounds, short of the 5-yard line. No, it's inside the 5-yard line.
He actually fumbles the football, but it went out of bounds before Miami could recover it. That's how hard that hit was.
And the line of scrimmage is going to be the 6-yard line. A 2nd and 5. And again, Pittsburgh can make a first down without scoring a touchdown. Mendenhall with blockers. Out of bounds at about the 3.
That's where you just get behind the old wall of humanity and ride it as far as it'll go. It's almost like being on a surfboard and riding the wave. Here comes Willie Colon out front, David Johnson, the tight end.
The last 3 games, the Pittsburgh Steelers have averaged under 63 yards rushing. Today, they've piled up 126, 91 of them by Mendenhall. 3rd and 2, and 3 tight ends. Roethlisberger going to throw it. All by himself inside. No, incomplete. Mendenhall looked like he had it and just dropped it.
Well, did he? He might have been out of bounds as well.
And it was a low pass.
Oh, he's out of bounds. He caught the ball. His feet are out of bounds. He goes through the pylon, and actually both of his feet are out of bounds when he catches the football.
21-yard field goal upcoming from Jeff Reed.
We complimented Heath Miller on his awareness. That was a lack of awareness by Mendenhall as to where he was on the field.
Reed's kick is good. Just under 14 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter as Pittsburgh doing their best to stay alive in the playoff hunt. They lead it 27-10. The number 3 quarterback on the Miami depth chart, Tyler Thigpen, who hasn't thrown a pass in the NFL since week 17 of last year, getting set to make his appearance. With Chad Henne suffering from the eye injury, Pat White knocked out of the game a few minutes ago. Ted Ginn Jr. won't get a chance to return this one. This is picked up by Luke Polite. And Polite brings it back to about the 38-yard line or so. We'll remind you next Saturday, it's a women's hoop doubleheader as Ohio State takes on Michigan State in a Big Ten bash, and then North Carolina tangles with the defending national champion UConn Huskies. And then on Sunday, number 1 Kansas, number 14 Tennessee. That comes your way next weekend here on CBS.
And that Bill Self and Bruce Pearl, the coaches of their respective men's teams.
Tyler Thigpen's best career game ever came for Kansas City against Miami back in the 08 season. Here's Ricky Williams trying to turn the corner, and he's run out of bounds. He threw for 320 yards against the Dolphins as a member of the Chiefs.
Well, the Dolphins thought enough of Thigpen that they actually traded Kansas City to get him here. But again, this is again he's not a big quarterback. He's only 6'1", and he's not as slight. He's certainly a lot bigger guy in his frame than Pat White. 224 pounds. He's definitely got a little more muscle to him.
On 2nd and 9, Thigpen throws and completes it to Ginn. And Ginn is out of bounds at about the 47-yard line, about 2 yards short of a first down.
You know, you look at Ted Ginn, Greg, and a real question as to who and when is Miami going to have a real #1 receiver that scares other teams' defenses. I think Devon Bess has really come on for this club, but he's not the primary guy. He's the #2, #3 receiver. Miami is in desperate need of a guy who can stretch the field, take that safety out of the running game, and Ted Ginn to this point is not that guy.
Lou Polite straight ahead, twisting across midfield for a first down, and Lou Polite is now 16 out of 16 this year on 3rd or 4th down, needing a first down.
The coaches love him. Parcells loves him. You like guys that produce. He's an outstanding blocker. He's just the kind of a player that you can't have enough of him on your team. And you're right, that's pretty darn impressive there.
Only Miami's 2nd first down in this 2nd half. That's how tough it's been. Play fake. Thigpen running for his life and throws it away.
Well, Greg, that's just easily explained. The second that Chad Henne didn't start the 2nd half and was replaced by Pat White, all productivity from this offense went up in smoke. So, considering as we enter the 4th quarter of the 16th game, the Dolphins, and for Tony Sperano, have gone from Chad Pennington to Chad Henne to Pat White, now down to Tyler Thigpen. Hard to win a lot in that scenario.
Thigpen escapes one tackler. On the move, penalty marker is down and the pass is incomplete. We have a penalty marker down at about the 34-yard line. And Bill Levy going to tell us who is guilty of what.
Before the pass, holding, number 94 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That penalty is on the linebacker Lawrence Timmons. And that'll be a first down for the Dolphins.
But desperately needed first down.
They are watching their slim hopes for the postseason get even slimmer.
Well, and their hopes really were slim. Not only did they have to beat, let's be realistic, a better team in Pittsburgh, but then they also needed 4 other teams to lose and able to sneak in at 8-8.
Thigpen over the middle, wide open inside the 35 is the tight end Anthony Fasano. First down.
Well, a good throw here. Puts it right onto the hands. Fasano, he knows he's going to take a big hit at the end of this. Anytime you're working against a zone like that, you know there's somebody waiting for you at the other end of that.
Thigpen. Incomplete. Fans want a flag. Corey Sperry, the intended receiver.
Well, no way. That's just incidental contact to the feet as 2 guys are headed towards the football. That's never going to draw a flag.
You know, Dan, Lamar Woodley stirred things up a little bit, insinuating a little conspiracy around the NFL, saying nobody wanted the Steelers in the postseason.
Yeah, well, I don't. If I was an AFC team, I wouldn't be looking to strap on the Steelers. Last time I checked, they got a 6th Lombardi trophy in their office that they won last year.
Pass is incomplete, and the penalty marker is down. Brian Hartline covered by William Gay, who figures to get the penalty call here. Hartline looked like he was fighting to break free.
Pass interference. Number 22 defense. First down, spot of the foul.
right, let's take a look at this. William Gay way beyond the 5-yard limit. The double move by Hartline, and Gay really bit when Hartline made the little fake to the inside. You know what? You pick up that penalty, that's a whole lot better than the alternative.
Troy Polamalu missing his 11th game of this season. And you've got to figure if Miami has any hope at all of winning this game, they've got to get a touchdown. On the reverse, here comes Hartline. Inside the 10, the 5, touchdown, Miami. What a nice looking play by the Miami Dolphins.
Well, Dan Henning dials up a reverse, and really it caught everybody from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was caught looking on that one. I think maybe Miami has become so pedestrian offensively, you wouldn't expect something like that, and that was really, the timing was perfect.
Hartline's 4th touchdown of the season, his first ever running the football. Carpenter's extra point is good. 11:24 to play in the 4th. And Miami closes to 27-17. Welcome back to Miami, everyone, and welcome to those of you joining us here in Miami. The Steelers leading the Dolphins 27-17. Pittsburgh and Miami each need a win to keep playoff hopes alive. The Steelers need a win and a Houston loss, and a loss by the Jets or Baltimore, or losses by the Ravens, the Broncos, and the New York Jets. Meanwhile, the Dolphins need a win here and a loss by 4 other teams.
Right now, Pittsburgh is being helped by the fact that Houston is losing in the 4th quarter by a touchdown.
Mendenhall in the backfield behind Roethlisberger, but he's going to throw. Under pressure, he is caught and down, and there's a penalty marker.
Randy Starks was all over Ben.
Holding, number 74, offense. Penalty is declined. Second
The
down.
penalty is on left tackle Willie Colon.
Randy Starks coming in from his right defensive end position. And Ben, who's been pretty much able today to get away from would-be rushers that time, almost looked helpless back in the pocket. Starks did a good job of zeroing in and giving him no place to go.
Roethlisberger has now been sacked 49 times this year. Back to throw. Quick pass. Complete to the 15-yard line, the Hines Ward. The Miami Dolphins, for those of you just joining us, are on their 3rd quarterback of the day. Chad Henne played in the first half, did not come out onto the field to play in the second half due to an eye injury. Pat White was knocked out of the game, and that brought Tyler Thigpen onto the scene, who took the Dolphins to a touchdown just a couple of minutes ago.
And if the Dolphins have been anything in the last couple of weeks, when they have fallen way behind, they've been resilient enough in the second half to come back and make a game of it, and they've done it here now, only down by 10.
3rd and 14 for the Steelers. Roethlisberger over the middle, and that is complete. And hit inside the 25 is Mewelde Moore, and we have a penalty marker.
Willie Colon, the right tackle, just put a horse collar. Yeah.
Penalty is declined. 4th down.
A major league hold by the right tackle. But it wasn't enough for the first down anyway. So even if that would have gone for much of anything, it would have been a do-over.
That's Devon Best back at his own 35. The Dolphins would dearly love a good return out of Best.
Now they're going to get some decent field position either way, unless we see some monster punt.
Sepulveda gets it away. That's not a monster punt. From the 35, Best steps out of bounds close to the 40. 9:52 to play. There's work to be done for the Dolphins, who trail by 10.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Bud Light, with a just right taste that's not too heavy, not too light. The difference is drinkability.
We'll look down at Landshark Stadium as we welcome you back. The Dolphins with the ball at their own 38-yard line. Tyler Thigpen, the quarterback. Fakes one way, now throws over the middle, and that's complete. Over midfield to Fasano, and Fasano all the way to the Pittsburgh 35.
I don't know much, but I know that right about now Mike Tomlin is getting a severe case of indigestion. Wide open, James Ferrier not able to stay in a chase position with Fasano. That's Ferrier coming in there from the left, not able to catch up, and this is becoming uncomfortable for Pittsburgh.
The fake to Williams. Thigpen on a roll. He eludes one tackler and carries it out of bounds just inside the Steeler 35. Let's recap what's at stake here today. The Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, they need a ton of help. They must win. That's the first thing. But then they need all four of those clubs to lose to be in it. And in a lot of those games, the team they need to lose is a prohibitive favorite.
We'll update that Houston-New England game for you in just a moment on 2nd and 9. Thigpen. He eludes a tackler and goes deep and wide open at the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Devon Bess.
Don't be fooled by the demeanor on the Pittsburgh head coach. He is seething inside.
How about the lift Tyler Thigpen has given this Miami offense?
You could have measured their yardage in the third quarter on a tape measure. And now all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, they are exploding all over Pittsburgh.
Dan Carpenter makes it a 3-point game. The Dolphins have scored 10 points in the last 2 minutes and 47 seconds.
Not even much in the way of play action. James Harrison coming in there, not able to get in on Thigpen. And Deshae Townsend ends up being a spectator as Devon Bess just runs right past him. There's no safety there. I don't know if Townsend thought he had safety help or if he just got beaten that badly. But he was looking a little cavalier about letting Devon Bess go right on by.
I misspoke. That's 14 Miami Dolphin points in the last 2:47 as they pull to within a field goal. And plenty of time on the clock.
Again, a reminder, as hard as this is to believe, that of the 7 losses coming into this game suffered by the Pittsburgh Steelers, in 5 of those 7 losses, they surrendered a lead in the fourth quarter of the game. Unthinkable.
And when we talked to Mike Tomlin last night, he wasn't happy about it then. He's not happy about it now.
That is not a stat where you want to lead the league.
Logan, deep for Pittsburgh. At the 5, Logan. Shakes a tackler at the 20. Trying to turn the corner, and he's not going to be able to do it. He's out of bounds at the 17. Number 32, Jason Allen, all the way across the field to make the play. Ben Roethlisberger on the day, 15 of 24, just under 200 yards, 3 touchdown passes, no picks.
Well, you are the defending Super Bowl champions. Time to act like it.
work right there to meet him was Aiken Adell.
And this is one inspired defensive team right now for the Miami Dolphins. They made a stand earlier in the third quarter when Pittsburgh was on the verge of putting this thing away, and they have been lights out since.
Pittsburgh yet to make a first down here in the fourth quarter. On 2nd and 8, Mendenhall at the 21. Reggie Torwar, who starts at linebacker today for injured Channing Crowder.
And I don't know about everybody in our viewing audience, but I can tell you this from our perspective. This is fun watching a football game on the last Sunday of the season that's being contested down to the last minute of the game.
3rd and 7. Here comes the blitz. Roethlisberger shakes it, moves the football. Miami has it. The former Pittsburgh Steeler, Joey Porter, comes away with it.
And look at Ben carry his right arm. Now, Ben, did he get hit in the face right there? But I think when Ben stretched his right arm out to try to recover this ball, he got hit right in the face right there. That should have been called. But I'm concerned for Ben's right arm, the way he went down with it outstretched like that. He was holding it at his side when he went to the sideline.
Ricky Williams, and Williams hit in the backfield by Nick Eason, number 93. Eason getting the start for injured Brett Kiesel today.
Well, this is just a dead play because there's no way that Jake Long, coming in from the left tackle, is able to cut off Eason, who is about a man and a half to his inside. And right now, this is what's critical for Pittsburgh. The training, look, Ben Roethlisberger has no interest right now in moving that right arm.
2nd and 13. The pass. Thrown inside the 5-yard line, intercepted. And no, it is ruled down back at the 2-yard line. Intercepted, but ruled down. Ryan Clark with his 3rd interception of the season. And a big one.
Well, a great play by Ryan Clark. The question now is Big Ben going to be able to quarterback this team? Boy, what an opportunity for Miami. Tyler Thigpen had no business throwing that football. 2 Steelers all over his receiver.
What a great job of holding on to the football by Ryan Clark.
And that ball never touches the ground. But
Here
look at
comes
Ben.
Roethlisberger, but look at that right arm. Let's go back to the play.
Well, he reaches out for the football. He's trying to grab it, and when it's extended, he's going to be driven to the ground, and look how it stretches out that shoulder.
And Porter lands right on that arm.
Oh.
I think we'll be a little surprised if Roethlisberger tries a pass from the 2-yard line. Mendenhall. Nothing there. Let's get to James Brown in New York. JB.
Hey, Greg and Dan. Houston is plopping New England by 7. Back to Greg and Dan.
Thank you, JB. Under 2 minutes to play there, and a Houston win there finishes any hopes the Dolphins have, no matter if they make a comeback here or not. 2nd and 10. Roethlisberger going to throw it. Quick pass to Hines Ward out to about the 7-yard line.
Oh, and look at Ben hang his arm after he threw that. Man, if you don't think Ben Roethlisberger is a tough son of a gun, look at what he's doing here. That hurt a lot, and there's Dennis Dixon. The backup quarterback today, Charlie Batch, is designated number 3.
3rd and 5. Steelers looking for the 12-yard line for a first down. Roethlisberger outside to Ward, and Ward complete first down. Pittsburgh out of bounds at the 20.
Man, and who else would you expect Ben to throw to? And look at that arm just hanging there. Ben Roethlisberger in terrible pain, but yet this is a good strike. A nice spiral and perfect position to Hines Ward. But you think this doesn't hurt? Look at that. He doesn't even want to move that at all, and then he bends over. Ben, you are one tough hombre.
4:41 to play in regulation. Willie Parker in the backfield. Parker with the handoff. Parker with running room up the middle. Across the 25 to the 27. 4.5 to play in regulation.
And Tony Sparano right now is going, wow, we were in such great position at the very least to make this a 27-27 game, but Thigpen with a terrible decision, trying to force the ball to Ted Ginn when 2 Steelers were right there all over him. You don't come out of the red zone without at least tying the game.
2nd and 3. Parker to the 30, and would appear to have enough for a Pittsburgh first down. 3:45 to play.
Ben's trying everything he can do to not jostle that right arm. You know, you don't have to run it all the time, but this is the time when running the football means everything. And the Steelers have done a pretty good job of it here in the last couple minutes.
140 rushing yards on the day for the Steelers. This is Parker. And we get a timeout call by Miami. They have 2 left. Pittsburgh with 1 timeout remaining, and it stops the clock with 3:09 to play here in regulation, and Pittsburgh leading by 3. Only CBS is America's most watched network. Thank you for making us your choice for the best in television. Happy New Year, everyone.
Well, we've certainly got more of a football game than it looked like when we watched that 3rd quarter when Pat White was quarterbacking and they just couldn't do anything. And Pittsburgh was just slowly pulling away. These Dolphins, you have to admire the way they keep fighting their way back into ball games that they have fallen way behind in. I used the word resilient before, and it's kind of admirable how they don't give up.
At one point, Pittsburgh had a 27-10 lead. On 2nd and 6, Roethlisberger looking to throw it outside. That is complete across the 40-yard line to Hines Ward. Very close to another first down. And the clock continues to move. We're under 3 minutes to play.
And look at Ben hold that arm. Every throw he makes, he's delivering it accurately, but at what cost?
Oof.
Tough guy.
It's a Pittsburgh first down at the 41. 2.5 to play. Willie Parker. And Pittsburgh going to call another, or it's Miami, excuse me, calling another timeout here with 2:19 to go.
Well, they've got the 2-minute warning coming up that'll stop the clock once again. This is a good use of the timeouts, I think, by Tony Sparano.
Loser here, no hope of the playoffs. The winner a slim chance to make it into the postseason.
Well, Pittsburgh has a better chance if they were the winner of this game. They need less help than the Dolphins do. The Dolphins, if they were to win this game, Greg, looking at what they're asking for, that's a wish list that I'm not sure even Rex Ryan could have filled.
And every one of the Steelers that we talked to yesterday, our own fault. The situation that we're in, our own fault.
Right. Well, and right now, Houston taking the lead on New England is that's an anchor around the leg of both of these teams. They both would like to see Houston end up being beaten by New England.
2nd and 8. Parker. Oh, that's a killer. That's a killer for the Miami Dolphins. Inside the Dolphin 45 and a first down. And that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play here in Miami. Pittsburgh trying to close out the Dolphins' postseason hopes, keep theirs alive. It's a 3-point lead. Welcome back to Miami, everyone. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what they need to happen to make the playoffs. And welcome to those of you just joining us. Houston winning will eliminate one playoff scenario for the Steelers, but will keep another alive. Willie Parker on first down. Running room, and he could go. 20, 10, out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal. Let's go back to that scenario for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are just about ready to nail down a win here. They would have needed in the first one Houston to lose. That doesn't appear it's going to happen. Meanwhile, they do need losses by Baltimore, Denver, and the New York Jets.
All three of whom will be favorites in their games. So you're asking, Houston, and congratulations to the Texans, by the way. That's their first winning season, I believe. But congrats to them, but boy, it makes it tough for Pittsburgh.
Willie Parker spins down inside the 10-yard line. That Houston victory eliminates the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, they, as of this second, they are eliminated.
We have a penalty marker down.
And illegal shift. 2 players were moving and never reset prior to the snap. Penalties declined. 2nd down.
So Tony Sperano's Dolphins putting up a good fight here today, down to their 3rd quarterback of the afternoon.
Chad Henne couldn't start the second half because of an eye injury, and then Pat White was knocked out of the game, and we mean knocked out. He took a violent hit on the far sideline.
Parker for about a yard to the 8. And the Miami Dolphins burn their 3rd and final timeout. There's Chad Henne.
And that motion penalty against Pittsburgh stopped the clock and cost them a good 40 seconds in terms of what kind of time is going to be left on the clock when Miami gets the ball back. And right now, if you're Miami, you're saying if we can force Pittsburgh into kicking a field goal and only having a 6-point lead, hey, stranger things have happened.
And right now, the Miami Dolphins are in spoiler mode as you look at Troy Polamalu, who missed his 11th game of the season here today.
Now, Mike Tomlin did tell us that if by chance they should get into the playoff picture, that there's a good chance that Polamalu could play next weekend.
He did practice a little bit this week.
Yeah. That would be immeasurable how much he would mean to the Steelers, but a lot would have to happen between now and then for them to get in the tournament.
3rd and goal, and Miami cannot stop the clock anymore. Parker to the outside, to the end zone, touchdown Steelers. And a penalty marker is
Hines Ward is jumping up and down at Bill Levy making that call. Hines Ward, one of the best blocking wide receivers in football. And that, on a scale of 1 to 10, that holds about a 9. That is the reason that Willie Parker got to the corner. No, sorry, Hines.
No, 86.
No. That was the reason that Willie Parker was able to get into the end zone.
Third and goal. The ball at the 18-yard line. Willie Parker is the back in the backfield along with Roethlisberger. Parker with blockers inside the 15 to about the 11. Aiken Adell makes the stop, and as the clock continues to tick away, we will look for the field goal unit to come on.
Well, Ben is certainly working his way over to the sideline. They will let the play clock go down as far as possible.
Pittsburgh has 1 timeout remaining, and they'll take some time off the clock.
We'll see Tomlin use it with about 2 seconds left on the play clock.
It is not often the defending Super Bowl champions miss the playoffs the following year.
Well, they didn't even use their the timeout. They just were willing to give up the 5 yards and go into delay a game.
And so that will line up Jeff Reed from about 33 yards out. 12 teams have missed the playoffs.
Reed might have told him, hey, I'm a little more comfortable even a little farther back. Maybe, I don't know, give me a little better view seeing he's on a hash.
Well, Jeff, how would you feel if we took another delay a game and backed it up a little more?
Well, we may be in the sweet spot right here.
He's got 24 in a row inside 50 yards out. 25. That's the third time today the Steelers have settled for a field goal in 5 trips into the red zone.
Well, we've kind of had a busy second half here as Miami mounted this comeback. Brian Hartline here with a reverse and end around. He gets a couple of good blocks and goes in. And then Thigpen finds Devon Best going right by Deshae Townsend in the end zone. And then Ben gets stripped of the football. Joey Porter comes in with a recovery. And Thigpen, though, when they were in the red zone, he gets picked off by Ryan Clark, and that was a monster mistake by the Miami third quarterback of the day.
Ben Roethlisberger.
When Ben fumbled that ball, he awkwardly stretched out. Watch him go back and try to get it, and his right arm is going to get clawed out. And Joey Porter rolls right over his arm, up over the shoulder. And that, let me tell you, that is an extremely compromising position for any player, much less a quarterback, to have that happen to his throwing arm and shoulder. And ever since then, Ben Roethlisberger has been carrying that arm at his side, except when he's used it to complete passes.
At about the 18-yard line, Ted Ginn Jr., and he is tripped up and dropped short of the 20-yard line by Stephon Logan. And Miami out of timeouts, and Tyler Thigpen coming back onto the field.
Well, I know that Pittsburgh has seen their share of leads evaporate in the fourth quarter, but Mike Tomlin has got to be going, please, this can't be possible. Not with 36 seconds left, with the third string quarterback in there with no timeouts.
The three-man rush. Thigpen throwing, overthrows, intercepted, picked off by Ike Taylor, and Taylor back inside the 20, and that'll put the cap on a Pittsburgh victory.
Well, Pittsburgh now becomes spectators. They've got to hope for help. Houston didn't oblige. Now they are rooting for the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Bengals.
Third Miami turnover. And there is the scenario remaining for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They win here and hope that Baltimore, Denver, and the New York Jets fall later today and tonight. Tyler Thigpen came on in relief, took the Dolphins to 2 touchdowns, but then on the 3rd and 4th drives threw interceptions.
Of course, one of those teams that they need to lose, Greg, is the game coming up here on CBS, Baltimore against Oakland, and Baltimore in a win-and-in situation. So you know how much it means to them.
Miami's season is over. Pittsburgh holding out hope for a miracle. They knock off the Dolphins today by a score of 30-24. The Steelers move to 9-7. The Dolphins fall to 7-9. For Dan Deerdorf, Greg Gumbel saying so long from Miami. Most of you will see Baltimore and Oakland here on CBS coming up next. You have been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 44.